when thinking about what I've learned throughout this class, and then really focusing on the idea of a missional student ministry, one thing really comes to mind, and it's this idea of the importance of doing this. There's so many times within not only my local church, but I feel like a lot of our local churches that we sort of ignore missions within our student ministry and think, well, okay, well, that's just for the older people, that's just for the young adults, wherever that may be. But instead, this class has helped me think through and really focus on this idea that missional student ministry just isn't for the older people in the church, but it's for the church. And then students being a part of the church are also a part of the entire church. And so sort of a running joke we had while in class was this idea of family mission trips, right? That's this idea that kids go on mission trips with their entire family. We sort of laughed and joked about it, but I think there's a lot of truth in that as well. It's important, and that's sort of one of the biggest things that God has taught me throughout the class, is the importance of missional student ministry and having a missional student ministry that's not just about discipleship, not just about equipping these students, even though those are major parts of it as well, but also a part of going on mission. Another thing, or one of the biggest things that God has taught me throughout this class, is really understanding my why. Throughout the class and on campus time, we talked about this idea of why, and why do we do what we do? Why do we say what we say? Why do we teach what we teach? And it's really helped me sort of focus on that throughout this semester and throughout the past couple months, of really understanding what my why is. Why am I in ministry? Why do I do ministry? Why do I believe these things? I think that's important for youth pastors or just even interns like myself to really understand and think about, and to understand their why, because it really helps motivate them to do what they feel like they're called to do. To be able to understand this why. And I think that's one of the biggest things that God has taught me throughout this class, which has also helped me be better at what I do. But it's to understand this why, and understand why we do what we do. Now, there's two things I think that come out of this class that I want to be able to implement, or next steps, if you will, into my own personal life or into ministry life. And the first one of those is to create sort of a vision statement. We also talked about that on campus, talking about this idea of a vision statement and what is that for our group, and is everything based out of our vision statement. And by the way, that vision statement is pretty much basically what your why is. That vision statement is based out of your why, and this saying, okay, this is sort of what our youth ministry or what our student ministry will look like. And so that's one of the next steps, is really fostering this idea of a vision statement. What do we want our student ministries to look like? What do we want our student ministry to look like? And how do we want them to be sharing the gospel? How do we want to encourage them and equip them? My second one is to really equip the students with these things. Not only to create a vision statement for the students, but also to equip them and teach them how to do these things, how to do missions rightly, and how we do not have to just go overseas to do missions. We don't have to just go on short-term mission trips to do missions, but you can also do missions locally in your context where you are. I was always told, and I think it's important for our students also to know this idea that how do you expect to go off somewhere and share the gospel if you're not doing it in your own context with the people you're around. I think that's true. And so one of the goals is just to help equip them, help teach them, and help show them how to do these things. I've really enjoyed Missional Student Ministry